folks, this is Deb and Dave. It's the Deb and Dave show. And we're just coming on very briefly to tell you where we are. Now, as you know, we have been called hashtag become ungovernable for a while now. And we're changing that. Because I want to just say two things. Number one, become ungovernable, in my mind now, carries a danger of being associated with the events of January 6th of this year. That is not what we mean. That is not ever what we intended. And nobody in this country is ready for any of that. The right wing is ready to rumble. Make no mistake about that. But the left is not ready to stand up like that. In fact, the left isn't ready to stand up at all, from what I can see. So let's just talk a little bit here. We are now going to be called the Factivist Project. And the reason we are taking that tactic is because much of what is going on here has been built around fabrications, lies, misinformation, medical and otherwise, and unsubstantiated claims from the right wing. The COVID-19 pandemic, we just passed 808,000 deaths in the United States today. And the COVID pandemic is in control because Donald Trump and his administration purposely misled the American people. Now, I'm not the only person saying this. I'm working with people from the Lincoln Project on little things here and there. And they're saying the same thing flat out. They did mislead the American people about the severity of the virus. They did mislead the American people about Anthony Fauci. They did force the CDC to change reports and to hold back information from the American people. This is all out there. All of these things have been documented. And we have posted them many times, and we have put them in videos many times. In the meantime, while we have everybody arguing over the right to wear a mask, the right to be unvaccinated, and all of this nonsense, you should understand that people are dying, okay? And a study was just released that says that people who are in Trump-supporting states are more likely to die from COVID than those who are not in Trump-supporting states. There are actually now statistics out there. And I will put that article in here. And that would be great if that was the only group of people that were bumping themselves off. But they're taking a lot of innocent people with them. And that, my friends, is not anyone's constitutional right. That's number one. But while we're all distracted with this pandemic and my personal rights, and should I put masks on my kids, and Ron DeSantis and the rest of the nitwits out there, real oppression is happening, and it's from the GOP and the right wing. Number one, we were told, 2016, 2017, 2018, that the whole Roe v. Wade discussion was just a distraction. And we were told this by women. Right now, we are on the cusp of losing our right to choose. We are, unless all the experts are wrong and I'm wrong, we are about to see Roe v. Wade overturned. That is a disaster, okay? That is a disaster for, starting out, 65 million women, okay? We are now looking at a country that glorifies violence. We have legislators calling for violence. We have Madison Cawthorn talking about civil war. We have a country that is moving towards vigilantism. We got rid of that because it didn't work the first time. We have Ron DeSantis talking about creating a citizen military in Florida that he will control. We are glorifying people like Kyle Rittenhouse. And I wonder, if he had been a black person, would he have been given the same accommodation that he got during his trial? I don't think so. We're in a world of trouble here. We have LGBT civil rights being rolled back. We have trans people being vilified. And this is all coming from the right. We have people from the right now talking about the fact that we need to be one religion in America. We are in a world of trouble here, and people are ignoring it. We have voter suppression laws moving through this country state by state by state that is designed to keep the poor, the brown people, and the black people away from the polls. We need to understand what's really going on here. And we had a country that saw the worst attack on the Capitol since the War of 1812. And that attack on the Capitol was not designed to overturn the government. That attack on the Capitol was designed to usurp the will of the people and to install a dime store dictator named Donald Trump. And if you think that that can't happen again here in America, think twice. The overriding goal now of this group is to prevent the GOP from returning to power in 2022 and 2024. Anything we hope to achieve in light of real changes in this country, once they're back in power, you can forget it. They will be unbridled, uncontrollable, and led by Donald Trump. He still has them by the cojones right now, because you know what? We're talking about 221 legislators from the GOP, of which 149 voted to overturn the election. So even if you're not a Marjorie Taylor Greene or a Lauren Boebert or a Madison Cawthorn or the rest of his little nitwits in Congress and the Senate, if they are remaining silent, not pushing back on him, not rejecting him, they might as well be doing what they're doing. And they are not doing it. The people need to push back. So in light of that, I am going to turn this over to Dave in a minute. I just want to say one thing. We have redone the page and renamed the page on Facebook. We have changed the blog over. I am about to change over the video page tonight. The next live stream you will see will no longer be Ungovernables 2021. It will be the Factivist Report. That will start with the next one. I am now updating the website. We need people to share the shit we post. It needs to be shared. If you think like us, if you're worried, then you need to help us out. We're not asking you for money, okay? We're asking you to help us out. And now I'm going to turn it over to Dave.
Since May, we have been focusing on journalism, good journalism and bad journalism, and looking for researching and looking for good news sources and sources that will give us the information to create positive change that does not infringe upon the rights of others, which, as Deb said, we are a left group. We do not have a problem criticizing Democrats or the left or whoever it is when they're wrong. We criticized Andrew Cuomo. The difference with Andrew Cuomo and the people on the right is Andrew Cuomo, for whatever reason, political or otherwise, guess what? He resigned. He left. These people will not leave. If you believe that some of the information that is presented was incorrect by either the news source that we present or by us, by all means, show us your research. That is what we are promoting. We are promoting active research and the search of facts to change our environment for the better. That's what factivism is. Okay, because the suppression of real factual information leads to fascism. We've seen it over and over again. We saw it in Nazi Germany. They took care of the scientists, they took care of the academics, and they took care of the press. And what are you seeing now? Tomorrow, we are going to present information on the Columbia School of Journalism and different projects that they worked on and different things that they're working on there. Now, I have planned the week after to talk about one of the issues that continues to come up. I am not going to bother to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse, if he's guilty, if he's not. There's no point. He was exonerated. He was found not guilty. It's a moot point. What we should be doing is researching this topic in a different way so that we can affect positive change. So I am asking all people who are interested in real information to contact us. Deb will give you the contact information. I am asking anyone out there who watches this who are journalism students or who are journalists, contact us. We are interested in real information. And I have always said that I'm interested in becoming a citizen journalist. Now, I wanted to promote that idea. I think right now, it's the wrong idea to promote because it's almost like the RIC and all of that and self-governance. We're not ready for that yet. We're not. If we find one or two people, fine. But a lot of that is promoted by the right wing. You see it all over the place in this. So
if you're a journalist, whether you're a citizen journalist or not, there are thresholds of credibility that need to be met.
Correct.
Whether you like it or not. Clearly, Glenn Greenwald did not like having an editor over him. He wanted to just be able to publish whatever the fuck he wanted, whenever he wanted. That is not the way real journalism works. It doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
All right. There were editors over Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein when they broke Watergate. All right. There were meetings daily about what could get published and what needed more corroboration. And they were looking for multiple levels of people who would back the information they were presenting. This is what the truth is all about. All right. I know people have done this, so I want to say this. Do not come into Real Journalism, our group, or any of our groups, and try to post information from The Last American Vagabond as journalism, or Whitney Webb, or Zero Hedge, or any of those other right-wing controlled websites.
We should probably get a list. I mean, James O'Keefe, all those guys.
Right.
Gateway Pundit.
Gateway Pundit, if you people have been watching us, you're not talking about those kinds of reporters, okay? I want to make that abundantly clear, all right? The Corbett Report, we've all gone through this, okay? We've gone through all of that stuff. We got kind of sucked in at the beginning, and then we started looking at their evidence and looking at their lack of evidence. And I'm sorry, they don't pass even the most basic level. If you want to counter with Whitney Webb, we will repost our 3 hours of discussion of her article. If you're a journalist.
Yeah, of why she's not a journalist and her quote unquote article, if you want to call it that, on linking Bill Gates to Jeffrey Epstein. If you really want to watch it, 3 hours. Debunk our debunking, please. I mean, show us something that is more substantial.
And I'm honestly, just let me say this. In light of everything else that I mentioned at the beginning of this short discussion, In light of all of those things going on, I'm trying to see how showing a connection between a dead man and an alive man is going to positively affect anything. And I just don't understand how Whitney Webb is going to get evidence that what's his name, Epstein worked for Mossad, because
Right.
I'm pretty sure that Mossad's not going to give her that documentation. You know what I mean?
And in all honesty, I mean, just to get into current events for 2 seconds, the Theranos case, whether or not Ramesh Sunny Balwani abused Elizabeth Holmes, that might be fine for the court, but what good is going over that going to do for the public? If you want to push for an end to domestic violence, please feel free. I don't think that this is the case to really use.
It doesn't really matter what Elizabeth Holmes' personal situation was.
Right.
He was responsible as CEO of Theranos for everything that happened, whether or not what old Sonny was there or not.
Right.
Number two, she's now insisting that her image was not something she thought of. It is what her advertising agency thought of. I worked in advertising, and in order for that to work and for that to happen, the advertising agency doesn't come in and put a gun to the side of your head. You have to approve all of that. So anyway, Elizabeth Holmes is Theranos, whether she wants to believe it or not. She's going for the sympathy vote. That's
right. Right. And if she wants to press the fact that she was abused by her former partner, she needs to press charges. That's the bottom line on that. And
it'll be going on trial soon too, by the way, I believe.
Right. Right after her, I believe. But our point is we are focusing. Well, the reason we did Theranos is because that product could have did actually severely harm the public, and future products that are not vetted could severely harm the public. That's why we did that. In the future, we're going to do others like that. So very soon, or tomorrow, actually, the Columbia School of Journalism and some of their publications and their, I would say, infrastructure of collaboration. They have a fantastic, we're talking about academics, we're talking about aspiring journalists who write and eventually write, they're the students who write their projects, and some get published, some in the New York Times or other publications. So it's basically a professional development school. And then they have academics in their Columbia Journalism Review from other colleges, and then they have fellowships, and now they are reaching out to us, which is what I am interested in. We will be, over time, this is going to be a long project. So I want you to understand this is going to take some time to build this up. We're going to be reaching out to different schools, journalists, outlets, whatever, and anyone who's willing to talk to us who is interested, please reach out to us. We are genuine.
I'm going to put a bunch of information in this description. It will be, I know you guys know all the old emails. I'm actually opening up new emails tonight with the new name on it. I'm going to start fresh, not have them crossing over.
Right. Yep.
We'll finish up all work under Become Ungovernable's email, and we're going to start fresh with this with a brand new email.
Now, are we going to start shutting down pages like the Become Ungovernable page? We might want to do that.
What, the one on Facebook?
Yeah.
It's been renamed. It says formerly Become Ungovernable.
Right, it does.
We have 1,000 people in there. No.
Okay. No. Okay.
What we will be doing though is, and I'm thinking about this, we'll open a factivist page and we'll leave it public. Right now, becoming
Okay.
governable is private.
Right. Now, by
And
the
it
way,
can't go back to public once it's private.
when we become public, that doesn't mean it's not monitored.
Oh, no, yeah, no, it will be monitored. Because
just realize that.
But the other thing that we're very, very, very intent upon is that when we're dealing in facts, there isn't a difference of opinion. Okay? There isn't. There are no such things as alternative facts. That's where we get into all of this mess to begin with. All right? So we are not going to provide a breeding ground or a platform for misinformers. You know what? Right now, we see that as the fact that you own all of social media with the misinformation. It is everywhere, and it is amazing. I mean, we have people out there now telling people they can become unvaccinated by taking baths in Baraxo and having bloodletting procedures. We are not going to make our venues anywhere where you can even attempt to promote that nonsense, okay? And we are not going to have people like RFK Jr. Promoted while Anthony Fauci is vilified, all right? Again, I want people to understand that, all right? We are not a free speech zone. That's
Right.
not what this intention is. So we will have, joining requirements, whatever, and we will have posts monitored. I had somebody try to post Zero Hedge in the whistleblowers group. That's never going to happen. Understand that. So that's where we are.
Yeah. We can have a list too. I mean, Ben Swan, all those guys. It's like, come on.
And again, I will say this, okay? When you are out there and you're thinking these people, the truth is on RT and Sputnik. We did for a short period of time as well. What you really need to understand is this. You can talk all you want about the corporate media, but there is absolutely no truth or freedom in state-owned Russian media. You will notice that your truth tellers are allowed free reign to speak on RT because the people they are criticizing are the people in the US government. I do not ever hear Chris Hedges criticize Russia. I don't see that. And that's why he's allowed free reign. I don't see Lee Camp ever saying anything bad about Vladimir Putin, who is not a good guy.
Right.
So, it's easy to understand why. I mean, they love this shit. They've got all the, American journalists up there shitting on the United States. Why wouldn't that be a good situation for them? Give me a break, people. Okay. So understand this. It's not that I don't respect Chris Hedges. I've got all his books, but he's not a truth teller. He's a talking head. He's giving you an opinion. Right now, he's not a journalist.
We are going to attempt to collect all of this information. Yes, we have our own opinions. Yes, we lean to the left. Yes, we understand that. And we are being completely upfront with you about that. But we are also dealing in facts.
Yes, we are.
And if you can show us information that is factual, that challenges our information, we welcome that. But memes are not that, just so you know.
Don't send me memes. No. And I'm going to also say this. I'm much less apologetic than Dave about being a leftist. I've been a leftist all my life. That has never been any different. I don't think I've ever even entertained voting for anyone in the Republican Party. And you really must understand my point. I'm a lesbian. We don't exist to them. Okay. And we never have. So No, I've always been on the left, you know.
Oh, I wanted to say one more.
And if I say I'm voting Democrat, I must tell you this right now. Okay, we have two parties available. We need to keep the right out of office right now. We need to keep the right. We need to actually expand the Democratic Party majority in order to survive, because the Democratic Party, for all of their faults, does not spend their time rolling back people's rights, either state by state or on a national level. Okay. All the while you have heard all the people from the right bitching and moaning about Joe Biden, you know, stacking the Supreme Court. He hasn't even made a pick yet. No one's even left. The Supreme Court has already been stacked by Donald Trump. Already been stacked by Donald Trump. Already been stacked against you ladies out there. Okay. Understand, this was not a distraction. It was a plan. And that's what you people need to see. So while Dave is focusing mostly on journalists and factual information, I am going to be spending my time attacking the right wing. All right. That's what I do. And that's what I'm going to continue to do.
So here's Deb told you a little bit about her background. Before you guys ask us, well, what are your qualifications? Normally, I don't do this, but I'm going to tell you once. I have an education background. I have a master's of education. Okay. I also have been a union representative in my local since 2008. So I have research background, you know, as in terms of research papers and that sort of thing, and also in writing grievances for contractual violations. Deb has her research background, a very rich research background in other things, if she wants to talk about it.
So I spent 35 years in advertising. So as somebody who wrote propaganda, I know propaganda when I see it.
Right.
Because really, everything that's going on now, all of that stuff that goes on Facebook, all of those ads, all of that stuff that went on, we talked about all of that. That was all right-wing talking points that was amplified by Russian ads. This is a fact, actually. This has been backed up. Yep. We put this in our video. We put everything that you needed for proof, okay? This is what propaganda looks like. And the result is right now that people think, somebody today on Facebook told me that I need to release my anger because
you do that pretty much every day.
Yes, we actually have all been duped, but no, I don't need to release my anger. I need to keep my anger level up. All right. Whether you're uncomfortable with that or not is immaterial. Right. But I feel like the American people just aren't angry enough. You know, I had another person tell me today that I'm not a real woman because I'm not married to a real man.
Oh, Jesus.
And this was from a woman. I mean, you know, these are concerning things to me, not because, you know, I feel like now I should go out and get married at the age of 68. But because there are actually people that buy into this fucking nonsense. Right. I'm serious.
Well, I had someone tell me that because my wife and I do not have children, and by the way, they don't know us or our health issues or any of that, that we are sinners.
Right. Well,
shut up.
They don't need to know anything about you because they're just reading the motherfucking Bible. Okay. Right. All right. And interpreting it themselves, by the way.
One more thing I want to bring up very, very quickly, because people ask about your views on COVID and all of that and how you come up with your research and all that. Deb worked in Militpur for how many years?
25.
25 years. She dealt with research and tech. She's not a researcher, but she dealt with the language, and she dealt with people who did the research. So she does have some knowledge of it. Just so y'all know.
And the other thing is, I also spent 10 years after Millipore running my own advertising agency. And the majority of the focus of that effort was high-tech advertising, which meant startup pharmaceutical companies, things
Right.
like I had a couple of consumer accounts.
Right.
The majority of that was high-tech industry. Okay. So
I would have loved to have seen you talk to Elizabeth Holmes in that advertising meeting.
you want me to say what, Elizabeth? So one other thing I didn't want to mention, I mean, I know it seems like a little thing, because we all know that Governor Abbott's an idiot, and we all know he's a mental case. I mean, I'm sorry.
Right.
The guy,
Yeah.
no, he's not right in the head. I don't know what happened to him, whatever. But, in Texas now, they have a list of 850 books, I believe, that they are now going to ban.
And
Yeah. So some people actually want to have book burnings again.
oh, Jesus.
I just need you to understand here, okay? And so when I talk about this, for example, one of the books that you can't read in Texas anymore is A Handmaid's Tale. So in Texas, you can have 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, whatever, carrying guns, but they are not allowed to read 850 books. So, it mystifies me. But I also had somebody comment today that, that happens in other states too, but, teachers still teach it and we get around it. You know what?
No.
No.
Once again, this leads to fascism.
This is what worries me about America. We'll let the oppression happen because we'll work around it. It's okay about Roe v. Wade because women will be able to go to another state. Do you know how fucking ridiculous that is?
And by the way,
and what insurance is going to cover it in another state? What is wrong with you?
Legislators are even talking about, even if you could afford it, which how is that going to happen? They're talking about eliminating that workaround. If you live in New York State and you try to go to New Hampshire to get an abortion because whatever, no, they're eliminating that provision. You cannot go to another state. They're talking about it already before the ruling is. The ruling is what, supposed to be in next spring. The right wing is ahead of this. They're ahead of this, way ahead of this.
You know what? And again, this was very methodically. I mean, I started watching this erosion back in 1994 with the moral majority and, all of that sanctimonious bullshit. This is
right.
We went from the moral majority to the Tea Party. Now we have QAnon. It's a progression. And all along the way, these people have managed by very good propaganda techniques to brainwash a lot of people. And we need to counter that, okay? We need to do something about that. It is not a good idea for us to say, we'll work around that. That is not okay, all right? That is not what we're supposed to be doing. All right. That is not okay. And the notion that, honestly, I will break bread with the right when everybody has the same rights that cannot ever be legislated against. When everybody can vote legally in this country without worrying about voter suppression laws being filed. Because the ultimate goal here is that everybody's rights need to be all the same, no matter who you are, what color you are, what your sexual orientation is, what your gender identity is, where you were born, whatever, all the same, never to be oppressed by legislation filed by anyone else. Legislation should expand rights. It should never be used to curtail anybody's rights.
Our stance has always been you do have the right to say what you want to say, no matter how asinine it is, unless you are trying to harm someone, whether it be medical misinformation or incitement or any of that, and or attempting to try to take away someone's rights. Everything else, you have your First Amendment right, but you can't tell me that because I'm this, that, or the other thing, that I can't do this, that, or the other thing. You can't tell someone because they're transgender that they can't play sports, or they can't do this or that or the other thing, or that whatever. Yeah.
So, we need to get this right now. Okay. We need to get this right here. I mean, we are in a very precarious situation. I mean, I don't know that anybody really understands this, but the last time people were this clueless, there was this guy named Adolf Hitler. And we need to make sure that doesn't happen again. By the way, the dime store dictator, he loves dictators. He loves strongmen. I mean, there are stories out there, and they are legitimate stories, about how Vladimir Putin used to put beautiful women in the same meetings as them because he knew it would distract Trump.
Yeah. This is run a little long.
Well, it is, but we're done. I'm just saying that, we're talking about a guy who really, we're how many months out now from the election? He's still talking about it as though it was really stolen from him. It wasn't on any level.
By the way, if you think it's not, you're an idiot or you're in on it. Just so you know.
Yeah. And by the way,
with no facts.
Yeah, we are going to leave this conversation, but he did endorse Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil, and he is definitely a dictator. He likes to align himself with strongmen, and people really ought to see the pathology in that, and see the pathology in the way he governed. So, and
not only in Donald Trump, in his supporters and his advisors, I would advise you once again to rent The Brink. Steve Bannon, who aligned himself with obvious dictators and fascists.
Right. And by the way,
it's there.
People really loved the United States of America as much as they say they did. And if they were as innocent about January 6th as they say they are, they would be cooperating with the January 6th Commission. Really. If they loved America, they'd be cooperating. They're not. So we'll leave it at that. We hope you'll join us. There will be an email in here.
Okay.
You can write us. I'll be on it.
Please, we're looking for people who are truly interested in journalism students, journalists themselves, or citizens who want to get real information and want to know how to ask for that.
We're going to put up. I am going to put up the Facebook page before I send this out. Join it, okay? You can also join Become Ungovernable as well with the old page. You can join both of them because we're going to post in both groups. We're not going to take that page down. We have people in there that are in there, and we need to keep those people. So feel free to join both, okay? And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.